Hi everybody. So I just wanted to do a problem here that had the actual data in it, and it doesn't have the summary statistics. So this might be a little bit hard to compute. So again, you can do these by hand if you really want to, but what I would suggest is trying to use StatCrunch as much as possible. So I already opened the data table here for the problem, and then for part A, I opened the graph chart table here. And again, I'm not going to have you guys construct these QQ plots or box plots for these. Again, I'll either give them to you or you can assume that the conditions are met, right? Otherwise you can't really run the test. So, but just focusing on this data, and maybe just talk about the problems here a little bit. So you have a requirement that the diameter of a golf ball be 1.68 inches. And so, during a manufacturing process, you may not be able to get the golf ball to be exactly that. So here's a sample of several golf balls, I think 12. And so you can see that their diameters are off slightly, right? I mean, but these are like hundredths or thousandths of an inch off, so you probably wouldn't even notice with the naked human eye. But so to answer this question T and P, so the T score, again, you could calculate this all by hand. You'd have to compute the mean and the standard deviation, all that stuff. But again, you can probably do that quicker in StatCrunch. So I've already got StatCrunch open here. So here again, you can calculate the mean and the standard error pretty quickly. Just go to Stat, and then go to T statistics, and then again you've got one sample, right? We'll talk about two samples later on in the next couple chapters, and then you go with data. Because you've got the original data, you don't have the statistics, you haven't calculated the mean or the sample standard deviation, so just go ahead and click that, and then you click on one variable, and then just put in your conditions for your hypothesis test, which if you go back to the problem were 1.86, and then the alpha level, if you look back at the problem, was 0.01, so I'm just going to change that, and then you click compute, and it should give you this box that I just had up here, and then to calculate the t-score, you basically just want to take the difference between the sample mean and the actual mean. So remember the mean, the mean that the golf balls, the mean diameter that the golf balls are supposed to have is 1.68. So if you subtract that from this, just plugging into your formula for the t-score, you'll get 0.001 on top, and then the standard error basically is the square root of that, whatever that condition is on the bottom. So basically divide 0.001 divided by this. Now remember, it's a two-tailed test. And I guess there are other ways you could get the t-score. I guess you've got the upper and lower limits, so you could calculate it that way. But again, you can just go to Stat and then just go to T statistics. Or sorry, it's not T statistics. Go to calculators, go to your t-score, and then just put in your t statistic there. So I already did that here. So again, the answer for the t-score was 0.08. So remember, this variable here, x, sort of represents z or t or chi-squared, depending on what you're doing. Again, you've got 11 degrees of freedom, so put that in there. And then compute the probability that your t-score be greater than 0.08, which will give you this. Now remember, this is a two-tailed test, so you'll have to double this number. So if you take this result and multiply it by 2, and then I go back to the problem I had here, you'll get that number. So you just put that t-score in, and that should give you the answer. So again, there are other ways to compute this, but again, that's one way to do it. So if you guys have questions about that or anything else, just let me know.